problem was the GoPro sitting too close to the mic.
Check. Can you guys
test?
Credit
1,
card.
2, 3.
Hello.
Space madness.
Hi, Brett. I'm just going to have to ask you to just bring all the forgiveness you possibly can.
I'm not worried about it.
Because
I figured with the Kickstarter going on, I was driving down. So.
Well, okay. Then because I completely forgot and then realized that we were supposed to do that and then didn't talk to you because she got surprised by me showing up at 9 o'clock this morning because we had talked, and I say we, a certain value of we, which I
Did not include me.
cannot define, but did not include the host.
Alternate universe, Sean. Universe
Had realized that the best thing to do would be to come down and just do the 1 hour demo here, so it'd already be set up. And that was a conversation that was supposed to be had with everybody else. And then something happened, and I might have slept at some point, and then just other stuff.
No, I think what happened was when you got double booked on our setup meeting.
Well, but I don't know if he knew back then or if the conversation happens later.
Right.
So I don't know, but
Guns with Gatling guns.
Yes. And missile launchers.
Going on.
hey, wouldn't ignore the sound on this, and it was causing all kinds of problems.
I just couldn't get it to work.
I unplugged it. I can't get it to turn off. I don't know what cords are yours.
Sorry about that, man.
That's fine.
Should I go on air or are we keeping you first?
You can go ahead and go on there. You need to be muted.
I should be muted.
You can mute yourself. So can you guys been able to mute yourself yet?
Like everything that's on my side is disabled. So we shouldn't be recording anything.
I'm getting the Cory Williamsen feed, and I keep reaching out trying to mute it. It won't let me.
I think you just stopped my broadcast, or? That's weird. My camera. Does this have a camera?
Mike.
Or I mean, does this have a mic?
I'm pretty sure it does. But I'm trying to mute you guys. It won't actually let me mute you for some reason.
Well, I'm not even showing the picture on this anymore.
You have to go live.
Yeah, but you still see like what you would be showing on the camera. It's not even showing that.
Did something come out?
It was.
All right. And then stop. I think it was me.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, so it should have stopped.
Check.
Check.
Slovak. Credit card.
We would have paid it.
Are you showing your screen?
No.
Yeah, only seeing.
Hey, folks, if you're tuning in, we are currently setting up. We had technical going, and then we don't know what happened.
Go back into the link.
All right, I'll just leave back out.
Yeah, log out and log back in is the way you're going to have to do it, probably.
Let me see if I see you guys in.
There we go.
Okay.
Test.
Ah, there we go.
All right.
Excellent. So let me kill that for now and restart it.
Damn it. I'm off camera, so all the news picking that up.
Wow, you're hiding. Convenient for you.
Is this us?
Yes. I understand. No speaking other people's
A lot of banging the table is probably going to be a bad idea too. So I'm not. I feel the table banging. So whoever's doing that should stop.
Excuse.
So, Brett, since you're closest and you can whisper to Colby when he gets here, there's a power thing that's going to be right underneath his feet. So please tell him before he sits down, because if he kicks that, we're going to completely be cut off.
Okay. He did confirm he's coming.
Yes.
Yeah, he's on his way. So.
We just got stuck in traffic. So again, thanks everybody who's already checked in. I think we've managed to handle the microphone issues. Hopefully so. Leonard, if you're still there, could you, or somebody else who's in the chat, could you please say something to confirm that you guys can hear without it being a problem? I would appreciate it. Okay, Len just said it was all good, so we're good there. I'm trying to connect the Facebook simulcast. We have one player who got stuck in, oh, wholly atypical, he said sardonically, Denver traffic. Okay, why is this thing?
Denver traffic is wholly atypical.
Why is this thing not connecting?
And asymmetrical.
What's not connecting?
For some reason, I can't get the
And a lot of other A words.
the Facebook reconnect to go. Oh well. So there will not be a simulcast on Facebook.
This is a random thing.
Good look at me on the face of fear. I mean,
All right.
Although actually, you're getting more light there.
All right. So while we are waiting for our Colby to show up, there's some snacks over here. It's a typical gaming table. I have snacks. All right. So hi, everybody. Oh, I have a Corinne. Corinne Siebold is in the chat.
See you. Can't see me.
So leaning into the camera right now, that's Amber Holder, our lovely hostess, who this is her awesome game room that we're set up in. This is where we've been running and playing the ATF Denver campaign. That's what we've been calling it, is ATF Denver, until this guy right here, Brett Baker, finally called and said, hey, you know what? We should come up with our team name now, because that is a thing. Each of the ATF branches is, you know, when they put a team together in the field, they're allowed to come up with a name. And they did a vote, and they came up with the name Sentinels. So ATF Denver is now Sentinels. Now, next to Amber, our brand new accidental player, Daulton. It is a fantastic story. Koji was trying to invite Daulton to a different game, and then Daulton was like, but he actually invited him to the group for this one. And then Daulton was like, oh, you know, like, I'm not gonna be able to, stuff going on. And then months later, he's like, hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and show up. And I'm like, oh, great, Daulton. Let's get a character built, I guess. Whatever. And Then
Who
started
is
asking
this
her-
guy?
I asked everybody else, like, who is this guy? I don't remember. And it was like, I don't remember. And Koji's like, I don't know what happened. Until Daulton said, oh, by the way, yeah, you did. You're the one that was like, oh, I meant to. Anyway, so Daulton shows up with this great character. And we love it. We're really, really glad to have it. He had great character, great stuff going on. Now you got a lot to live up to. Next to Daulton is Koji. Koji is, in addition to playing in this game, he's also helped sort of project manage this whole thing. And Koji will be specifically in charge, although actually I was saying to Koji, but no, since Cory is also on, both Koji and Cory will be helping with, I don't know which camera even.
This is the hand of Cory. Listen by. We'll call him Cory.
Cory down there is also, so both Cory, who's playing Black Rook, and Koji, who is playing Ray, will be helping with questions in the chat so that I can spend more time actually, running the game. By the way, Daulton is playing Grenadier, and Amber is playing Orb, which, by the way, if you guys saw the cool image that was attached to the preview of this, that is Orb, drawn by Brett, who does really cool art in addition to being. Brett is an artist and a writer, so he's got all kinds of triple threat. And then there's Scott Crosson. Never mind. No, I'm just kidding. Scott Crosson, who has up to now, until very, very recently, been playing a character named No Show, which was an ex-British / CIA associate spy with telepathic and telekinetic powers. But he's brought in a new character named MYRMIDON, who, when we open up with our narrative, we will open up on the splash page from the last issue, where MYRMIDON and Ray said, "Hi, how's it going?" and then tried to stab each other. So we'll see how that plays out. And then Brett is playing Chameleon, spelled in a very interesting Leet style way, but the name fits. Although interestingly enough, that part of her power set is the one she uses the least. She's up to now been sort of the tank brick. Oh, by the way, I'm also a tech expert character. I think Ray or Brett is actually looking forward to not being the frontline brick for everything now.
Yes.
So
yes,
that we can start doing more of the sneak and stuff like that. Although again, what's really funny is she's not even super strong. It's just she's good a martial artist and can take damage like nobody's business. And then our, as of the moment, missing player Colby plays Bastion, the vastly overworked and overstressed legal consultant, business expert, and oh, by the way, wears a battle suit with cool force powers. So those are the Sentinels that we have. And like I said, we're hoping Colby will get here in a few minutes. We're going to go ahead and do some housekeeping to get things started. Really what today is you all get to see a regular campaign game in progress. I did set today's scenario up with perhaps a high action level, just because it will be fun and on camera. Plus, we did like an all role play, no combat session last time, which was really, really awesome. Where we did a lot of backstory stuff and got to see everybody's backstories and stuff. So today, because kind of needs to be a throwdown anyway. So first thing we're gonna do is go ahead and get everybody's resolve handed out. And again, I'm going to treat this as a teaching game, but by all means, if you're watching, please pop in with your questions. As always, use the Q&A section for the actual questions you have about the game, so that my monitors can look over there. They can pull the question out. We can take a break and we can answer those questions. Bearing in mind that resolve is calculated based on if you start with any because you are under the trait cap for this game. Now, this campaign is currently a 12-die trait cap, which is traditional standard level. They actually started, I think we started at, what, 10 originally? Was it 9 or 10?
10, yeah.
Yeah, we think we started at 10. We started as a 10-die cap. We wanted to let them kind of build into their power level, but they've moved up to 12 dice now. So if anybody has 12 dice, they start with the default 0 resolve. If they start at 11 dice, they start with the default 2, and for every die level under. Now, the way that works is, because I know this has been a couple of players who've backed us have been confused about this. One of the things that I wanted to point out is you look at all your powers and traits, right? Pretty much its abilities. Talents aren't going to matter for this, and your powers. Look at the thing that has the highest trait rank, right? Then ask, does this have combat usage in some way or another? Every single one of your abilities does, with the possible exception of intellect. You could make the argument intellect doesn't. But since you could use it as a strategic attack, that kind of thing kind of does. But you can make the argument with the GM, say, I want a 14-die intellect, I don't want to count for trait cap. you could probably get away with that one. But everything else, agility, perception, all of those have combat effective abilities, so they would count. Anything that you could hit somebody with, cause them to not be happy about life, or whatever, or anything that you use to defend yourself with, counts for combat. So, for example, taking expertise and then give yourself 20 dice of expertise in crochet. Okay, fine. You're not going to really use that as a combat thing, except in the most rarest possible situations. So that's not going to count for trait cap. Teleportation is not really a combat ability. So if you have teleportation of 16 dice or 20 dice, that's not going to count for your trait cap. But blast would count, martial arts would count, armor would count, force field would count, and so on and so forth. If you could use it in combat in some regular way, then that will count for your trait cap. So whatever the highest of those things is, you look at that and compare it to what the trait cap of the campaign is, and that tells you what your default is. The second thing you get resolved from is there are certain flaws that you can take because they are ongoing plot devices that the game master can screw with all the time. You get a bonus one for that one. Enemies is a good one. Relationship is a good one. You know, they will give you a bonus single resolve per session because you don't invoke those. Those get invoked by the GM for story purposes. All your other flaws, you have to actively and intentionally invoke during gameplay, and it has to cause you a problem, and you can earn resolve during gameplay. So back up to, trait cap helps determine what your starting to resolve is. The second thing is if you have any appropriate flaws, which are a handful. And the third thing is you can actually buy it. There's a power you can buy called determination. And for every 5 hero points you spend, you can just buy yourself flat out a starting resolve. Now, each session, or each what's it called? Each issue of the comic, as we call it here, we look at what your starting resolve is, and you start with that many. And I use poker chips for this. However, if you end a session or an issue with more resolve than you normally would start with, because over the course of the game you role played really well, you did a lot of really cool stuff, or you did stuff to bribe the GM, like making nice food or whatever. If you somehow end a session or an issue with more resolve than you normally start with, you get to have that instead. So if you're in surplus, you can mark that down and you start with that. And I mention that because I'm about to hear a ridiculous number out of Amber for how much Orb is starting with, which is how much?
7 this time.
Crap. 7 resolve. I really need to make today tougher than it is.
You gave us an extra 1 at the end of the last session for us.
Okay, was that in? So should that have been? Was that what you marked after I gave the extra?
Probably.
Okay.
Because I write down my resolve every time, so I probably included that for mine. Unless it was like some, because I'm assuming I don't get more.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you saying I made that announcement after everybody had broken? Oh, yeah, so never mind. He's right.
Oh,
So
okay.
you get 8, fine. Now, do you have something? I think you have luck.
I do. I have 3.
Okay, so separate color chips that represent luck. And those are dice that she can spend. Those are chips she can spend to give herself extra dice.
Ooh.
All right, Grenadier. How many resolve does Grenadier start with?
Start with 2.
Did you have?
So do you get a bonus from last time?
I think I had 4.
Okay, we'll go with 4 then.
Sticky notes.
Right?
9.
Oh my
What?
God! And is that with the bonus one that Cory was talking
That
about?
is with the bonus one.
What?
Yeah.
All right, so that's really ridiculous. I'm going
What
to give
have we
you
done?
1 that represents luck instead of a full resolve, and that's just because of helping out with the thing over there. Cory.
7 resolve, 3 luck, and leadership.
All right. Well, I'm also giving you a bonus luck because of also helping with stuff over there. Okay, Brett might need to help hand off there. Thanks, because you have extremely long arms.
first arms.
And so there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 others that you would need leadership chips for. So the reason I hand up the leadership chips is that when Cory's character uses leadership in a scene, he hands that chip over to them. He describes what he's doing to provide leadership to his teammate for give them a free reroll, and then he gets those chips back when the scene is over, so that he'll be able to use leadership in the following scene. All right, Myrmidon, how many resolve?
Myrmidon starts with a measly 4.
With a measly 4. Okay. Again, Brett, thank you. Anything else?
No. He's
Okay.
a simple man.
All right. And how much are we starting with for you?
I have 5 written down, plus 1 for the post, and I made, or for the journal entry, and then I made 3 posts for the Kickstarter. So
1.
that's up to you.
So Math is hard. How many did you write down?
5.
Does that count the bonus one that Cory was saying I gave after everybody wrote stuff down? So 6, and then 1 for post,
Okay.
and then you made 3 more posts for the Kickstarter. That's disgusting. All right, there you go.
That's a bad example.
Anybody else have any luck and/or other things they need tokens for?
Only resolve for the posts that I put up.
Oh yes, very good. How many posts did you do?
I just did the one
Okay.
for the prologue in the.
All right, there you go. Excellent. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anybody else?
No.
All right. You guys are gonna have to spend some resolve because I'm out of chips over here. Now, because there are going to be 7 players, I start with a base 7 adversity because the incident that you're going to be responding to has effectively an adversity rating. I will get an additional 7 for that, so I've gone ahead and awarded myself those. All right, so we have taken care of that. Any updates for characters? Anybody have any updates that they needed to make me aware of, or changes to their characters I should know about?
No points from last time, so.
Right, but just okay. There's always if you need to fiddle with something, it's like this really isn't working, and you change it. I just wanted to clarify that. All right. Who wants to take first crack at a recap of last session?
Me.
Yeah, go, Brett.
So everybody, it was basically a role play session. There was no combat, and so everybody sort of delved into what was going on with them. I believe Orb had an encounter with her orb, which she learned is a shard from the creation of the Omniverse. And Grenadier showed up for the first time, having been reassigned from the army. And Ray had an encounter with a leprechaun who drank all her 35-year whiskey.
By the way, is everybody hearing Cory? Everybody hearing Brett? Okay. Just somebody let me know if you're hearing Brett. Okay, keep going.
We finally got to see Black Rook's wife and son, and we found out that Black Rook's wife is kind of along the same lines as he is. They're sort of Mr. and Mrs. Smithing each other, and his son is hanging out with one of Ray's kids, initiating Operation What Do My Parents Really Do, which I thought was hilarious. No Show had a run-in and conversation with a previous villain, Colonel, was it Ivanovich? Mm-hmm. Who was talking about the a pending, I guess, attack from, what was the name of the, I always blank on the name of that thing.
Hmm?
The thing that Ivanovich was trying to get him to fight.
Oh, gosh.
The,
I don't remember now.
The Doom with Doom
The entity, yeah.
Oh, the entity, yeah.
It was
The
just-
omnipresence.
The omnipresence.
The omnipresence,
Yes.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
I remembered it this time.
Yes. And then and so in light of that, No Show actually left the team. That's when MYRMIDON joined. And then I had my character has not been able to sleep since having a confrontation with the antagonist that made her into what she is. And so she paid a visit to him and got into an argument with him while he was in prison. And then she handed off a thumb drive with some data to a friend of hers that's an activist that she should probably not have handed off. But yeah. Oh, and then MYRMIDON showed up, and he and Ray tried to murder each other right off the bat. So
I have not tried to murder Ray. When we get to me, I'll explain.
So that was a recap of last session.
Fantastic. I was trying one more time to try and go live with this thing, and it is not letting me do it.
For Facebook or
For Facebook, yeah. I don't know why. Oh well. Sorry guys, I was trying to do a simulcast back over to Facebook, but it's just not working. Okay. So excellent. Does anybody have anything anybody wants to add? Anything that was missed or other bits and pieces? Okay.
I'd like to do my intro.
Yes. So let's let us reset the intro. Unfortunately, Colby's not going to be here for that part, but we'll say that Bastion was actually trailing behind the rest of the group because he suddenly got a call and he had to run over and handle it, more administrative stuff. So actually what's going to happen is that Bastion was about to go out and suddenly someone calls us, by the way, we need to go ahead and get the paperwork in file for the arrival of Myrmidon. He's like, who? Myrmidon. And then when we cut to the top where Scott, set the scene for us, and then Koji, please describe what your reaction after the scene set is.
So this will take a little bit. So we'll start with, it starts with the picture of me being stabbed by Ray. And me and Ray go back a long ways. Back to, in fact, we first met in Japan. The screen shows a castle in Japan, door bursting open. There's Ray with her tails and all doing the whole fox spirit thing, trying to protect the princess. And leading a group of samurai is my character. It stops with, kill them all. We've had quite the long history with each other. Now, I realize I've not been a good person the entire time. I've worked for my share of conquerors, kings, and tyrants. And a quick montage of me riding with Genghis Khan, getting out of a boat in a Spanish conquistador uniform, putting down a Spanish flag on a beach, and marching in front of Napoleon Bonaparte. But at time, Ray did help me find my way, turn around, switches to a scene of me pulling the turret off a Nazi tank during World War II. And, I've wandered, I've grown as a person. But when I heard that she's in trouble, I knew that I knew how to go and find one of my longest friends. It's hard to find friends my age.
I think I heard a door knock.
Yeah, I was hoping my husband was going to...
All right, no worries. He's probably handling the kids and the dogs. It's all good.
And this is what brings me here today. And, of course, it ends with me being stabbed by Ray.
So would you please explain the scene of you stabbing Myrmidon?
Oh, right. So, the kineticists, our boss.
Impact.
Yeah, Impact announcing the new member of the team, Ray screaming, running across, like, the hangar deck, doing a leap, activating, using her Omni Power, the magic Omni Power, a sword, slamming it into his chest, into Myrmidon's chest. If I knew you were coming, we would have roasted a leg of lamb for you. Unfortunately, we only have crullers.
I deserve that.
Hey, says Impact as he steps out onto the tarmac, being followed by Bastion, who's carrying a whole sheaf of just freshly printed paperwork that, in fact, establishes that Myrmidon's been assigned to the team. Why are you stabbing my new recruit?
That's how we say hello. Oh, it's how we say hello.
I've got her by the throat.
You're weird. You two are weird for each other.
Could you please not choke my Ray?
I'd put her down.
Thank you. Would you please? Thank you.
We go way back.
Obviously. Is this going to be a recurring theme?
Probably.
Because I'm pretty sure my hangar manager is going to have a problem with having to constantly clean up blood off the deck.
Yeah, you got me. You got me there.
Ooh, it's going to be like watching reality television.
It won't be a problem, boss.
It's divine blood and grow flowers.
Not on a hangar concrete deck. And if it does, I'm docking your pay. Yeah, okay, you don't care. I'll find some way for you to care.
Is he always like this?
Let me make it clear to you, son. I know what your strength rating is. It's pretty damn impressive. You can hit me all day and it ain't gonna matter. I might hit you back and it will.
Okay.
Anyway.
I like him. It's very nice.
Out of character. Welcome, Colby. We are already online. Colby is playing Bastion, as we said. We were just recapping from last situation. You all set? Got character?
Yeah, I'm just pulling up.
Okay, no worries at all.
Get your feet, because there's a power strip right
Oh, yeah.
under you.
Be aware of all the cables and all the wires everywhere,
If we
folks.
disappear, it means one of us kicked something and we're sorry.
Yeah, that's a thing that could happen.
That's pretty much what it is.
I don't know what's going on with the feed on that one. It's getting a little fuzzy. At least it is. It's fuzzy on mine. I don't know if there's a. Your camera is a little fuzzy.
Okay, it's fine on mine.
Okay, then I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. Once again, I will remind everyone that is in the chat to please enjoy and thank you very much. We're going to be running the game, but if you just chat away in the chat section, that's going to be fine. If you actually have a legitimate, serious question you want answered about what's going on, please use the Q&A system. Unless it's not working, in which case, go ahead and put it in the chat. And I say that because they are sundowning this particular system that we're using. It actually officially ends. It doesn't work anymore on Monday. So I'm hoping the 24-hour will still last until, if for some reason they shut us off at some point, then I'll switch over to Facebook to finish the 24-hour thing. But anyways, there's certain weird things going on, and they're not supporting it anymore. So hopefully everything works okay. So you guys are all standing on the thing, and suddenly, of course, whack, 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 and there's lights flashing. Alert, alert. We have paranormal activity occurring at the at the Glen Canyon Dam area. The Glen Canyon Dam area is in desperate need of response, and Meldanian forces are attacking the dam.
Well, nothing says hello by more than a fist in your face.
Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to
MYRMIDON, field lead, Black Rook.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Rook. You prefer Black or Rook?
I understand.
I assume Bastion is scrambling for the ship.
Oh, I'm. It's much like me. I am just like, gotta get the suit on.
Yeah, Grenadier's worse off. I've got to go back to my quarters.
So you're scrambling back to your quarters to get all your gear.
Tech guys.
I'm waiting on the ship.
Of course you are.
Hey, can you carry that rag?
I require no prep.
Wipe up the floor. Hand it back.
All right, so I forget what was the name of the ship?
Bulwark.
The Bulwark. So everybody's making their way to the Bulwark, which is basically your version of the Quinjet for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
I think I even came up with a picture for it at one point. I thought it was pretty cool.
I'm still in shorts, sandals, or flip flops, and a Hawaiian shirt that's buttoned down. I'm just gonna walk on the ship.
Okay. Anybody else do anything in particular as you get ready? I know Grenadier, you're running off to grab your stuff. Or what's going on with you?
I'm staring at the new guy in the Hawaiian shirt.
Just going in the ship, following and
Yeah. What's up? What's up with that one?
There's a locker up there standing on the tees.
I wouldn't worry about it too much. I'm sitting there in a hoodie and a mini skirt. So
I'm offering that.
I don't think you have anything in my size. Just please red track checks all that.
all right. By the way, does your suit? Do you literally have to do the clip it on yourself, or does it?
It's more like more Iron Man. It's just step in, step out. But
Got
it's
it.
more of a okay. I gotta go get it. And I'm not particularly agile outside the suit.
That's right. You
outside
still have those difficulties. Yeah. Ray, what's up with you? What are you doing?
I'm gonna get a couple techs over, and we're gonna get some of the auxiliary equipment like communicators and whatnot ready for MYRMIDON.
Perfect. Black Rook.
He's basically already logging into tactical systems and downloading any information of what's going on at the dam.
Okay. Just for future reference, I'm trying to remember what's Black Rook's vehicle skill.
I think it's like 5.
Okay, so you would definitely be in the co-pilot seat then, unless you. Well, like there is a tactical station too, so you're actually think about that. You probably want to be at the tactical station instead.
Probably.
So if anybody else has a 4D or higher in vehicles and wants
I have
to,
a 5.
all right. So then
I have
you.
a 6.
So you're the pilot. We've established you're the pilot. I was just figuring who the co-pilot was. So I guess it's going to be Orb. All right. So the Bulwark takes off for Glen Canyon, which, by the way, is it's on the Colorado River. It's actually it goes down the Colorado River just over the Utah border into, I think, what is that, Nevada? can't remember now. I had it in my head, but anyway, it's just down in there. It's a pretty important part of the Colorado River system. You can actually blame Colorado Public Radio for me kind of having an alertness about these things and how important they are to the infrastructure and how our state has been arguing with everybody else's state in this region about who has control of the water. But anyway, so Glen Canyon is in fact where you guys are headed now. Lan, I don't know if you're still watching, but they get to blame you for this part. Today is going to be an interesting experiment in disaster rules combined with an actual combat. Len suggested this when I was running the. Yes, you did. You totally suggested this during the 1 hour demo. Fire! He said try having a combat with the with that. So I thought, what the heck? Let's have some fun with this. So as you guys are flying rapidly towards the Glen Canyon Dam, the tactical information that you are getting fed to you is that in addition to extensive Meldanian forces, to include obvious Meldanian strikers, which you guys know, those are paranormal level, high-end warriors. Plus, they've got probably a couple of dozen of their commandos, which are the turquoise-colored figures. Each of those represents 5. The black, more Gothic-looking guys are singular, and they've identified at least 3 unique paranormal level threats. They're not sure if there's any more on site or not. But in addition to that, there are, and I'm doing a mix and match here, so it's not going to be, traditional just disaster level. This is minor disaster, but that's only because of how many tasks you're going to have to deal with. But I will point out that dealing with a disaster task is separate from taking a combat panel action. That will be your action on that page if you're dealing with the task. And I will also say tasks that are left untouched will grow increasingly difficult to manage. One is there's a fire in the power plant. There's an actual power plant system that, because this thing is part of the hydroelectric, whatever, that, and I put Post-it notes on the thing. And by the way, yes, this is like a medieval fantasy bridge, but I'm treating it as a dam instead because it's kind of cool and it works. So that represents, dealing with the power plant fire and figuring out, how you're going to neutralize that and get the power plant from exploding. Evacuate the endangered population. The dam has burst at a number of places, and water is in fact rushing down in an uncontrolled torrent towards population centers. And I think that's that one over there represents that. And there is the actual stopping the dam from completely collapsing and shoring it back up again. That is also a task that is going to have to happen. So those are your 3 disaster tasks that are going to need to be handled. And as I said, each page that passes that they're not dealt with, they will become increasingly more difficult. The difficulty level itself will be partially determined by what you do to try to fix it and what you're trying to use to fix it. In addition to that, you've got that giant guy with huge weapons all over him, which, by the way, you will eventually, you're pulling in data of have these guys been identified before? And you will note that one is called FIREZONE. The guy with the energy sort of floating out of in the strange little cape cloak thing, that guy, they refer to as Blocker. Now FIREZONE is pretty obvious what his deal is. He's festooned with weaponry and heavy armor. Blocker, they don't know a whole lot about Blocker yet. Blocker is a relatively new asset they put into the field. In fact, it's really new, since you guys have started fighting them. But what they've been able to tell so far is that Blocker seems to have the ability to create a force field, much like Bastion does. A pretty effective one that not only does it neutralize direct attacks, it also seems to be very effective against other types of effects. He's also exhibited some telekinetic ability. They've not yet determined everything else that he can do. And as I mentioned, FIREZONE, and then another one that they call Cruncher. He's not particularly huge, but kind of buff, and he carries around lots of different implements of destruction and seems to be very much just brawn and damage. Although previous encounters with him have indicated that he seems to have an intellect. He's not your typical, I hit things. Yes?
Cruncher?
Cruncher.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's called Cruncher. That one's called Blocker. That one's called FIREZONE. So they've already been present and done some damage by the time you guys arrive on the scene. Today we are using static edge. I'm not going to have everybody roll, as I've pointed out in a number of the other the other ones I've explained that, you know, sometimes during my campaigns I'll have everybody roll their edge, like a giant handful of dice and count successes, and we do random. But for purposes of demo and just kind of moving forward, since there's a lot of stuff on that table, we're going to go with static edge. I'll remind everybody, of course, you can spend resolve to jump order as you will. As you are arriving, and the ship is kind of in the air, Blocker is standing. He's just kind of standing here like that, looking up, and he's holding. He's not doing anything, even though you get the sense, Black Rook, you're a tactician, you know, tactical mind. You get the sense that, you know, he seems very alert and ready to respond, but he doesn't do anything. As the ship arrives, Ray, you would be the first one to do something.
As we're coming in, may I take action for preparation?
Yes. So you're using the approach to, yeah, I'll totally allow that. So that's going to cost you a resolve. But now everybody has +1 die to all that they do for the rest of the scene. As it represents that he is feeding you constant tactical information and updating your understanding of what's going on. Each of you, by the way, needs to decide, you know, if you are doing the Google Glass type thing, or if you already have goggles or some kind of headgear that you just plugged into the network that way, or what makes the most sense for you to interface with tactical information and communication information being fed to you by Black Rook. Whatever makes sense for your character and fits your idea. I mean, it literally could be you've just been handed a pair of goggles, which, by the way, standard night vision, you know, glass goggles things are, you know, something that ATF does provide. So, you know,
Might also just be as simple as like it's an audio feed from your headset.
It's just an audio feed.
I've got the hollow computers.
Yep. All right, Ray.
And then real fast. Did you have the chameleon have the psychic uplink as well?
Psychic uplink.
No, that was no show.
No show.
Oh, that's no show.
So we don't have that.
We don't have that.
You don't have it anymore
We
now.
just lost it. Yeah.
Yeah. Electronics. Anyway, yes. In that case, if we're coming in,
Mhm.
I am going to. How big of a blast am I able to drop down?
I don't know.
If I do area effect.
Oh, each panel, a panel's worth. You know how to use the like a fold panel section.
Uh-huh.
So if you can tell where the folds are on the thing, you know, and if you shift it over, it's going to be the equivalent space.
Chameleon's working on something, by the way, so I can probably replicate the site for sure.
Okay.
In a few adventures.
Yeah, I guess I'll be looking at the visor to see which ones you put on as 1, 2, 3, 4, like basically prioritized threat ratings, and I will hit that one. So which one do you want me to hit?
Blocker right now is primary because he's also a wild card. And then FIREZONE. And then what I might recommend is that those of us that are capable of dealing with multiple units at the same time to take care of some of these commandos, so that we can take care of the dam itself.
All right.
I get to hit a dude
Which
with
one's
another dude.
Blocker? Is that dude way over there?
No, that's Blocker.
That's Blocker.
That one's Crusher.
Oh, that's Crusher.
Cruncher.
Crusher. Cool. And then this is Fire?
That one is not. That
This
one is
one
as yet
is.
unidentified. Although I will say that thermal imagery and stuff like that is indicating that there's somebody in a building over there doing stuff.
Okay. So in that case, I'm going to center a blast on this square here.
Okay.
Catch those
I
5.
got FIREZONE.
Okay.
All right. So the 2-gun wielding thing person is actually inside that building.
Oh, she's inside. Sorry. All right.
So-
So then in that case, I'll grab those 4.
Okay. Real quick, make an intellect check unless you have a specialization in tactics. Okay, then roll that check instead.
You could catch those 5.
I guess if we could shift the panel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that panel shifting is
I-
possible.
It is within reason, but I'm going to say keep it to the 4.
Okay. All right. Not a problem.
But before you roll,
Sorry.
no, it's fine. But you know what? Actually, I realize it doesn't matter. I totally doesn't matter. Go ahead and roll.
Okay.
What are you using, by the way?
I'm using the area effect train.
Of course you are.
Have you played with him?
Now, so
My favorite power.
So as the ship is coming in, you've like thrown the door open and you're looking down and you're about to throw this out.
Yep.
Right about then, blocker goes.
All right. So we have a, let's see, it's a 10 die drain, drain power, pretty much with everything on top of this. I have 1 extra die because of the buff that Cory carried out. I'm going to add another 6 on top of that.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
I have 7 on the target.
I had a die go.
Again, until guys start flying off the table.
As you do this, a strange greenish glow flows up from blocker, and it is enmeshing itself within the energies you're sending down.
17.
Yeah, so this is where the GM is going to spend an unbelievable amount of adversity.
So
start.
early.
Thank you.
So early.
So I'm spending 1 adversity to re-roll. I'm spending another 5 adversity to add dice. So there's my re-roll. And there's 5 more dice.
I do need that dice. I don't think I can be able to get it roll.
By the way, the rules do not the rules do not address this at all, so it's entirely a GM decision. If there's a phrase in poker called string betting, where you just keep bet 2 and then 2 more and then 2 more, and it just gets really annoying. So most tables don't allow it. I have the same thing. Once you commit to a certain amount of resolve you want to spend as adding extra dice, you commit that amount, and then we just move on. Especially just, I want to add more, I want to add more, I want to add more. I'm going to really wish I didn't have that rule right now.
You gotta pass this down to Sean.
Stack them there for me. You got 17 successes.
17.
I'm spending another adversity because you can re-roll as many times as you want. I just don't do the adding more dice. I'm going to re-roll again. So there's the way this looks right now is your energy flowing down, Blocker's energy flowing up, and you're both actually just pushing, kind of like the like from Big Trouble in Little China, where there's a, there's that going on. There is an element of magic in what Blocker's doing. There's also an element of psychic and what you would identify as just raw, power. And Blocker's looking right at you like he knows you. There goes another adversity. This is getting ridiculous. I'm gonna wish I had rated this encounter higher.
Okay, so we weld that guy into the crack. He's not gonna have any resolve to it.
I think I've got something for that.
Yes.
This one might have finally worked.
Got some 6s in there.
Finally, yeah. That was the thing. Is I was not using any 6s. There's still a lot of 3s and 5s on this pile. Oh my God! 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. I'm hating you so much right now. So
You get a die.
My job here is done.
Huh?
Get a die under your feet.
Yes, that's what I was asking about earlier.
Well, I just looked down and saw it. So, other
You
side.
can get it later.
Other
It's kind of
side.
under there.
Actually, you just kicked it forward.
Yeah, team.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, so anyway, I'll let somebody else get it.
Okay.
So you rolled 17 over his best roll of 13. So 4 net successes. Thank you, Colby. By the way, how many other resolve do you need?
5.
Is that in addition to the bonus one I handed out at the very end of the session before everybody wrote anything down? Okay.
So I need 6.
There you go. So, you push through this field, and it tumbles down on top of him, and he starts screaming, "No, I was ready, I swear!"
I'm going to yell out, "No backsies!"
So,
Blood coming out of my eye.
put this 2 marker next to him. And it was also affecting the...
That one and these 2.
Yeah.
That trick never gets old.
I know.
Just go and yank the 2 turquoise ones because they're effectively neutralized. Their equipment's not going to work. There's nothing they're going to be able to do of any effectiveness at all. The striker gets to roll at least that. Not going to do much good, I don't think, but he will get to roll it at least. So,
Which one's the striker? This one?
yeah.
Last one, yeah.
The strikers are basically foes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, never mind. He's going to be completely neutralized as well. So, yeah, you may as well yank them. And again, they're physically present, but they're like shut down. Their suits freeze up. That's.
By the way, Sean, how high are we in the air?
That is entirely up to Colby.
What would be your effective range on?
Actually, mine is line of sight. So I could be doing this with binoculars and be like,
But you bought line of sight on that thing?
Line of sight would probably
Oh
less
my
than 3
God.
miles.
I'm hitting you a telescope.
Yeah.
Are we less than 2 miles up?
Yes.
Excellent.
All right. Well, it is Chameleon's turn.
I'm going to jump out.
That's hurt.
Where do you want to jump out to?
I'm going to jump out between those 2 groups of 5 in the middle.
Right here.
So she jumps out. I go,
Right.
I like
Which
her.
one?
The girl with the skirt.
That one. So you jump down into the middle of 2 groups of commandos. And?
Grab a dude and start hitting other dudes with them.
All right, there's total of 10 guys there. So you'll lose 2 dice off of the hit a dude with a dude thing. And you're buying it back up again. Okay.
At this point, that's your signature move.
It
It's
is.
literally hit people with other people.
No, and kick him in the face.
Yeah.
You should have.
When there's no one else to hit them with, we start hitting them in the face.
So we were. Never mind. I'll tell you later.
What's with the watermelon? I'll tell you later. These guys really, really put up a good fight. Seriously, like holy wow. So what'd you get?
8 successes.
8. And this doesn't count as the 2-fisted or anything like that, right?
Well, I do have 2-fisted,
But you didn't take the die. You did not take the dice.
I
off for
didn't
that.
try to stack them.
You know, okay. So 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would take 3 out of one of the groups. So put 2 chips next to one of the groups.
Which one do you want?
The one I'm facing.
The other group, unfortunately, also rolled 8 successes. So they all managed to back out of the way just in time. And they're all like drawing guns and throwing down on you. However, that was just so completely awesomely cool. You get a result for that. All right. And that brings us to, well, I forgot I wrote the name on there. So you already knew who it was.
Yeah.
Our dear friend LINECUTTER is present. LINECUTTER is someone these guys know. She is a Meldanian professional saboteur who keeps getting away after doing terrible, terrible things.
Yeah, she tried to do that nuke.
oh yeah, I owe her big.
Yeah, this is in fact a thing that
Two
she has
different
done.
characters that I played have both gotten beaten, or not beaten, but forced her to run, but
Nice.
never caught her. So I did psychically slam her into the ground at one point.
So she's looking at her her devices inside because she's got, of course, tactical feed also coming all the time. Oh, of course, Black Rook. Wouldn't mind dancing with you, but I have things to do, and you need to not bother me. Click. Another hole blasts in the dam, and more water starts rushing. So she has exacerbated that disaster significantly.
Okay, that's my cue.
your jumping order?
Yep, I'm jumping order.
All right, so Scott has spent a resolve to jump the order. So I just drop that down to the floor.
Everything's dropping. In fact, I'm jumping out of the plane
Okay.
without a parachute.
Where are you headed?
That's gonna really hurt me. Hey, you know that big guy? I just superhero land.
If I can survive it, I'm sure he can.
I think
Superhero
I think I want to superhero land on top of him.
On the fire zone?
Using leap as a power, or as the attack.
As he leaps down, I turn to one of the commandos like,
He's gonna do superhero life.
he's gonna do superhero
That's what the commander said.
So you're superhero landing on his head, basically.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see it.
Okay, hold on just a moment. Don't fail me now, but
Going after
Is chatting with your weapon like just
fire
playing with your
zone.
food?
Huh?
Is chatting with your weapon like playing with your food?
Yeah. It's actually more fun.
Is there anything special about this? Or is it just straight up punch attack?
just straight out, I'm just using the leap as a death from the butt.
All right, but you're using your mic.
Yes. 12.
All right. What'd you get?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
All right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I'm new, so I don't get paid.
So you slam down on top of him. Well, bang! And there's this ringing sound as you then kind of flow off of him. The best Meldanian steel in all the galaxies. And you think you're going to punch me?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to punch you a lot.
Go away, little man. And he opens up on you. He is using the penetrating effect. These are like needle fine flechettes he's firing into you. So you will only get half your armor, or you'll need to use an active defense.
So, let's see. Half armor is 6. But active defense is like
Either-
toughness.
No, active is getting out of the way. So agility if you don't have evasion or something else.
Agility is the same thing. Actually, can I use leaping?
You
Jump
could
out of the way?
you could use leaping if you wanted to do what's called an all-out defense, which is what we recently found that out. All-out defense means you're allowed to use a movement power to all-out defend, but it does mean you give up your next action.
Don't tell me now, Bat Dice.
Take
So-
take it like a king.
Are you doing the half armor or are you doing the all-out defense?
I'm doing the half armor.
Okay.
And hold on. I'm spending 2 more to add 2 dice.
Okay. Yeah, there goes an adversity because I rolled 1s and 3s and 5s with a couple of 2s in there, so I'm re-rolling. All right, that's better. Much better, actually. Lots of 4s. Okay, so I got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on that.
I'm re-rolling.
Okie doke. Remember, there's also leadership rerolls.
Sure. Move that one back to
He's got a punch, or his flechettes are maximized at this velocity. So you may want to go ahead and angle your defense at this vector.
I got 6, so I'll take 3 health damage.
All right, so new guy's Hawaiian shirt gets chewed to pieces.
That's
As-
my favorite shirt.
That's the sum of his
Not
spin.
anymore.
And Black Rook, you are up.
I just like, that's my favorite shirt.
You big shiny jerk.
So Bastion, you want to team up?
Sure.
I think we should launch these nice
In the bathroom.
Downstairs.
torpedoes that I put on the bulwark.
I did notice that during pre-flight. That was
At this fire, it's preloaded with fire retardant.
sounds good.
Sure.
So is that going to be
Oh,
that's end of
thank you.
round for team ups,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Sounds good to me.
So you're actually you're actually teaming up to take care of a disaster.
Yes.
So that's a really interesting situation. They're actually doing the team up maneuver, which is normally a combat thing where they wait to the end of the page to handle a disaster result. And I'm going to allow it to work exactly the same. They will both make rolls. They'll get +2 dice on the rolls, and they'll be able to explode 6s. Now, because this is a single task roll kind of situation, I'm not sure. I'm going to have to think about how I want to resolve that because it's really supposed to be kind of one roll situation. But I really like it. So I'm going to just let them both roll, and they'll take the best roll of whichever roll, however they do. And the other person will, I'll take a fraction of however many additional successes they got to add on top of the roll, or something. I'll figure something out. It'll be cool. So that brings us to Bastion, who is holding for the team action. That brings us to Orb.
All right. Orb has decided that she doesn't like what the big guy just did to that poor sap I'm not sure I like. And against her better judgment, she's going to go ahead and try to help because it was apparently his favorite shirt. So I'm
glad you found a reason to fight.
I needed a reason to get involved today. I was sleeping in. I didn't feel like coming into the office, and now I'm here. So
saving the Colorado River, water network, among other things.
Right.
But that's shirt, though.
So what are you doing?
All right. I would prefer not to jump from super high in the air. So I'm hoping that maybe we're, not neck.
You are at an appropriate distance from the ground to
Sweet.
jump down.
That's good because I'm not going to do the thing.
I thought you were flight.
We were probably
No, I've never had flight. I just run really fast. I've never had flight. That's one thing.
We can do a sweep past as we head towards the fire.
Got it.
Okay.
Just drop you off.
That works
drop
perfect.
me off. Thank you.
That works
Appreciate it. All right, so I will jump out of my co-pilot seat. I'll come up behind him because I don't want him to see me. So I'll jump quietly. And I am going to attempt to use a penetrating blast.
Oh.
From behind him.
Yikes.
Because I feel like that would probably be the best option in this case.
I'm going to let you try. I mean, it's going to be very difficult, but I'm going to let you try a covert, maneuver here to see if there's somehow you managed to surprise him, even though this ship just flew by. Of course, it did just kind of fly by. It doesn't necessarily mean that something dropped in behind him. So go ahead and make a covert check real quick.
Okay. I just upped that recently. Ooh, I have 8 now. I knew there was a reason I upped that.
Nice.
Crap.
7?
So he will not be able to use his active defense because he doesn't realize that this is happening. He's very focused on trying to chew dude up who's sitting there complaining about his shirt. So you will, in fact, get the the penetrating attack against half his armor instead. Go for it. I guess you must have, did that fly casual thing or something.
You're a really good pilot. Thanks so much.
Well, I mean, we're basically buzzing him, so he's probably distracted by the extremely loud engines blowing in his ears.
Oh.
Doesn't notice that we actually dropped something off as we were making our approach.
What'd you get?
I'm probably going to reroll is what I got. 6.
I got 3.
Oh.
So you will get some damage through unless you want the leadership reroll to do better.
I feel like this is the time to get that damage in, though, before this gets much worse. What do you guys think?
Let's do it. Do it.
Yeah?
Do it.
I feel like I can do better.
Do it.
All right.
You'll have to come in at this velocity in order to penetrate that armor.
Okay. And I'm going to add 3 dice to it.
Oh, wow.
Because I feel like I have all this resolve, and I feel like I should use it to do stuff to the biggest dude you put on
Yes,
the
why
board.
not? Sure. No, you hold on to that one because you hand it back to him at the end of the scene.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, assuming it was another scene, but
Okay, so let's see. I handed you
3.
3.
So you're rolling the same dice over again, plus 3 more
3.
dice.
Okay, let's do this. 3 just doesn't seem like enough.
Oh, you got it.
I could do better.
Oh, no.
I could hurt him more. Okay.
I need bad luck. This one.
Find 3
Yeah.
distinct chips in there.
Wait, no 6s, unfortunately. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8?
Yeah.
All right, that means you did 5 points of damage to him. Still doesn't drop him, but he's obviously very hurt. He's like, ah! Staggers forward. What the hell? He turns around and faces you.
Oops.
Self the biggest target. That's going to happen, but
All right. So Orb went. The strikers are going now. So the 2 strikers down on that end are going after. One is going after Orb, and one is going to go after Myrmidon.
How close do they get?
Yeah, they're gonna shoot. So I'm just indicating who their targets are.
How
many dice did that?
7. So your armor that's just enough to have a chance to hurt you, but you could probably still end up auto successing it. I got 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6, so you could auto success that.
Yeah, I'll success it.
All right, and Orb.
Let's see. I have 11D armor.
Let's put up my hand.
That should be enough.
And
Darth Vader.
you can totally auto success that.
Okay.
So what I'm doing is for like foes and lesser so like that, I'll go ahead and roll and let the heroes know if they can easily auto success, so they don't even have to bother rolling. That striker. Now here's where we're going to need to do something interesting, because I just realized we need to kind of. We'll use my phone. Put my phone on like over the water for now, and that's fine. And put everybody who's on the ship on there, and that will include Ray. Yeah, he'll be up near the cockpit, and Blackrook's on there too. All right, take that striker, the middle one, in the middle, that one. He leaps up with jump jets and leaps through the same door that you guys have been coming out of. And yeah, so he'll actually come in, and he is attacking Ray. As soon as he gets in, he's got these blades. They're glowing with energy, and he's straight up attacking you.
I'm using agility.
Look it up. I got 6 successes. All right, well, fine. You managed to do just fine.
Yes.
And then I've got 2 strikers back here. They're going to run over and gang up on Chameleon.
Okay.
And the way I'm going to do this is I tried this in the 1 hour demo, and I really liked it. So one of them is assisting the other one. So the other one will get a +1 die. So they're both at you, but you only have to defend yourself once.
Okay.
Ooh, all the pretty 6s. I got 10 on that one.
I should bring that.
I rolled a lot of odds.
I like it when that happens. Yay! I'm hurting the heroes. Yay me!
5 successes. I may reroll.
Yeah, you might want to, because I got 10. So,
And
here comes the command reroll.
Command reroll. Okay.
You have this sort of agility, you're going to want to make sure you keep that in mind when you're dodging.
Wow, I never thought to dodge.
Go on, man. Making sure
Dodge.
That's
Jump.
more like it. 2, 4,
Dodge a
6,
blaster. You can dodge a
8,
hero.
9.
If you can dodge
10.
a brick, you can dodge a ball.
You're good. You're good. They're very close. There's like these weird glowy blades and stuff like that coming at you, and
I'm like sidestepping.
you're getting sizzled. But all right, that will be it for the strikers. Grenadier.
he was loading a certain clip into his magazine. But he's going to drop that, pulls an explosive off of his vest, and slaps it to the back of this guy.
Okay.
Shove him out.
So is that going to be a martial arts to hit him, or
Depends on what you're. What
it's
is?
going to be an entangle?
Well, then you just. That's just a cool description of you
Okay.
attacking him with an entangle.
Okay.
I mean, it really is that simple.
Okay.
So you have the entangle effect, which he would resist with either an active, getting out of the way, or his might. He will actually it will be might that he's going to use. He's so it's going to go off, and then he's going to try to break out of it, quickly.
Oh, that's ugly.
I got 6 successes.
I'm going to reroll that.
Or wait,
Leadership?
leadership?
Okay.
May as well use the free
You need to
reroll.
point that thing over on that side.
Oh, that's much better. Much better.
And he's going to give up on his not rolling trade to instead roll out where dice will go everywhere, but they will explode on him.
Yes.
It
Because if this was Savage Worlds, they would have exploded a lot.
Grenadier, like Poland during the Great Northern War, tips new strategy: winning.
10, 11.
11.
Wow.
11 over my 6 is 5. So that is 3 pages worth of effect.
Okay.
And because their health is 3, that means that it is the entire scene. So, and he is completely wrapped up and is neutralized. So
He's completely he sticks the claymore on the back of this thing, and it blows.
Mhm.
And this kind of off-white goo just goes all over and between his arms. It just starts expanding. And anyone who's on the ship and looks back goes, "That's a deconstruction foam."
Yep.
I'm trying to fly this plane while you're setting off explosives inside it. Could you not?
Go ahead and yank the miniature just because he is completely neutralized. But you do have him thoroughly wrapped up and contained on the ship.
He volunteered to be a prisoner.
Cruncher is going to turn around. We're back. Everyone, please step aside. That one is mine. And they actually do. When he walks over and says that, the rest of them actually pull away. And he walks over.
As he's walking toward her, I'm like,
Pow! And he goes for the little bit of a tricky shot there.
A 9-iron. Old move.
And as soon as this goes off, you realize you're not sure you've ever been hit this hard.
I may not have been hit.
But you're not sure you would have ever been hit this hard had you been hit.
It's 5, 6,
I got 13 successes.
Wow. All right, I took 2.
So again,
Wow.
you've never been hit this hard. But bam! It actually causes you to step back a couple of feet.
Okay. So it rings my bell a little bit. I'm like, okay.
All right. And then it's time for the commandos. I will be leaving the camera thing for a second because I got to stand up and look for a second. So Colby, help me out. These guys are going to come around to about right there. Those guys are about the same distance.
So do these guys have implants? Things that make them stronger, tougher, faster?
Who?
These commandos.
Meldanians.
The commandos, no. They're just wearing body armor with cool stuff. The strikers do. By the way, those are actually all when you move them. I should have been clear. Those buildings exist, so there you sort of slid them inside things, and they wouldn't have.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was my fault.
So,
There we go.
move that group of minions, the ones that's only like a couple left, down. They're going to move through the battle area, but they're like moving past, and so just move them like a couple squares past. The other group move about the same distance. Actually, move them into the space where LINECUTTER is. That's LINECUTTER, yeah. So they're actually going into that building with her. Same thing that happened down here with that those two groups of minions down there. They all come around. They're obviously maneuvering to try to get where they can start attacking, but actually, those guys do have a shot, each of them. They come around the corner, and they're able to start shooting. One of them will shoot at Orb, and one of the groups will shoot at MYRMIDON. We'll shoot at Orb first.
Okay. I'll use my evasion.
Okie doke. I got 8.
That's not going to do it. I got 10.
All right, and then MYRMIDON.
That was a good roll.
How many dice are they rolling?
It doesn't matter because their threat rating is 5D, which means they cannot hurt you. The minion's threat rating represents whether or not they can even possibly penetrate your defenses, which they cannot. So that's done. So we get to the end of the page where you guys are attempting to deal with the fire suppression thing.
Yep.
So what, Scott? What?
Oh, Scott.
Yeah, we need to let other people do their thing. What are you attempting to use for?
So I'm a piloting, presumably.
So you're lining it up
lining
and
it
actually
up.
firing it.
Yeah.
So that is actually going to be, really is going to be your vehicles check.
Yeah.
So whatever your vehicles is, and then I can't remember what the
We had a +2 because we're teaming up, and then +1 because we're buff.
right plus 3, but there's actually the system itself, which is going to be another +3.
Okay.
So you'll get to roll that many dice.
Okay, that's where I'm at.
What are you rolling?
I was going to plan on technical expertise.
Okay.
Manning the technical ops station to target the systems.
So here's actually how I'm going to do this. Whichever of you gets the most net successes, that will be the base net successes, but you will both be able to explode your D6s. You explode your 6s for additional successes. That's how I'm going to do this. By the way, this is an inhuman level task, so your threshold on this is 5.
I already hit that.
Okay, then.
Like I'm at 6-9 already, and I haven't even rolled my exploded 6s yet.
I meant way more.
Okay. So
Purpose-built fire suppression. There it goes.
you ridiculously overclock. You absolutely, completely, totally neutralize that threat. And in fact, I'm even going to give credit that some of the fire suppression gets all over the one group of minions over there and takes them out. So go ahead and yank that and yank that thing. As you guys completely eliminate.
15 altogether.
Yeah, you did it ridiculous. So, but you did it. You did it real good. Now, Scott, you had a question?
Yes, when does instant regeneration? Is that to be end of the page or?
At the start of every new page. What really actually comes down to is at the very beginning of of every turn. When you go, the first thing that happens is a free action is you regenerate a.
That's just what I need to know.
All right, so what I'm going to need. Do you have a pen or pencil down there, Daulton? Okay, so that the pink one there. I need you to put 2 tick marks on that, please.
Okay.
And we need 1 tick mark on the other one, please. By the way, you don't want them to generate too many tick marks.
Oh.
Because there will come a point where they cannot be resolved. They've already disastered. So that is a thing to consider. But we are at the top of the next page. Blocker is unfortunately blocked. Go ahead and replace that 2 with this 1, please, to represent one of the pages of effect. However, blocker also can try to break out of this, and will do so. So you suppress blocker's power.
Like everything, right?
Yeah, but whenever you are neutralized by something, you can attempt to break out of it as a passive thing.
Okay. And what do you roll for that?
Literally, blocker is trying to exert his power again to get past your suppression. So it's.
But I guess like just for mechanics purposes, for my, like, do you like if they, let's say they're trying to use their will or whatever, and they had 8D will, is that what they're using, or like all 8D of it, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But all it is an action to try to break free. You. I don't know. It doesn't come up most of the time because you so completely, utterly neutralize people that it's not even going to be an issue. With blocker, it is an issue. So blocker gets to try to break out of that. Blocker was sent here specifically to deal with you.
I'm touched.
He had one job.
He had one job.
Sean's not bitter.
No, I didn't hear that in his voice at all.
So
The
blocker is
things
trying.
his team has put him through.
Blocker is trying to get his power to overcome your suppression of his power. So you need to roll. You roll to resist being broken out of.
And then I'll throw luck in for an additional dice. Is that it?
Crap. Deanna is already spending an adversity to re-roll. Because the blocker apparently has just got horrid luck. This is going to be the most pathetic debut of a special villain.
I got 10.
Oh my God. So you feel the pressure, you can feel along the mystical, lines of power that you control. That blocker is resisting and pushing, but not getting any leverage at all. Your cage of contained power is holding very, very steady. Well, that was pointless. And it's your turn.
Oh. Okay.
And yes, you can stack.
Oh, like
you could
what,
do it again to try to stack additional pages worth of.
I recommend taking it.
Cruncher?
Cruncher.
Okay. I'm going to Berzap Cruncher then.
You're going to Berzap.
Yes. we'll fire up a drain on it.
It's a technical term.
So it's what it says on the page. It's copyrighted. Where's that?
I don't.
Koji,
Koji, I
are
don't
you
like
doing
you.
it from here?
I don't
Or
know
can you
why
do it-
I ever let you
Oh,
play
I
in
can
my
do it from here.
games.
Yeah.
But remember, we just need to give Ray a telescope.
Exactly.
Right.
Like I can sit on a mountaintop. over
Well, we'll at
there.
least, give you your line of sight. There you go.
All right, so you're going after Cruncher.
Yes. 10, 11. Yeah, we'll just make it a start.
Come on, Dice. You were doing really, really good yesterday.
They like
You-
us
yeah.
better than you.
What'd you get?
9.
I also rolled 9.
Okay.
So you send the tendrils of magical energy to try to do the suppression effect on Cruncher. Where it's like, you see it kind of the energy go flowing over him. He's like, what the? All right, that's cheating.
He's still cheating.
We're gonna cheat.
You've still got a few adversity left, so we have to get rid of this.
Exactly. You should overcome it.
I will spend. I will spend.
Yeah, I got 10. So one more. But
Well, that
it's
would be
not
enough to. That would no, because it's now fractionals you count.
Oh, okay.
Half rounds up no matter what. So I am re-rolling. What in the unholy? I'm re-rolling. Good. I'm rolling 15 dice.
Wow.
I'm rolling 15 dice, and I am not.
Did you remember to recharge them when you got home? Maybe the batteries are dead.
I tried turning them off.
So there's again that push pull, and you've actually sensed that the energy's going in. He's like, and he takes that thing, and actually the energy like runs up his arm into this crazy club thing he's holding. Ah! Cling! And actually hits himself in the head with it, and the energy flows off. Whew. Back off! Blocker! Do your damn job! I'm trying!
I'll yell out, Blocker, you should take pointers from him.
I'm trying! Shut up! Williams, you're up.
I look at Cruncher and I'm like, you're stupid, your face is stupid, and you should feel stupid. And what I'm gonna do is
Look at all these.
That's
as well.
pretty.
I'm going to bound between his legs, come up behind him, and kick him in the back of the neck.
There we go.
Like I said, he has no one to hit them with, so I guess it's okay.
Oh, there my sixes are.
Sixes always come out when I roll. What's up with that? Your dice hate me.
Better than hating me like they've been doing. 12.
15.
Ouch! Ouch! That was as sweet as you described it, and it definitely got his attention. Bam! Mm.
Oh, he got her mad.
You are worthy. Let us dance. That is what you humans say, isn't it? Let's dance.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is there like a Kevin Bacon thing going on here?
You saw Footloose?
I did. For reasons I'm going to regret destroying your planet. Linecutter actually steps out of that shed area that he's working in, looking over at the craft itself.
Oh, great.
Fine. Let's try this. Points. Yeah. This points her arm up. This crazy, like almost slingshot-looking thing pops out of her forearm, and this little tiny grenade type thing comes flying up. So there is this flashbang dazzle effect that is just going right across the windscreen area to completely blind you. And actually, it's going to blind everybody on the ship because it's going to just pierce through, and it's got this like staccato and this like crazy flashbang effect going on. So it is a zone effect at range that is hitting the craft. So in your case, you could use your piloting to try to do the evasive maneuver thing.
Yeah, I could try and.
And if you succeed, no one else is going to need to roll a defense.
Okay, we'll give it a try.
So 6 dice for the piloting, and I think we put plus 3 dice for the
plus 1 for buff.
right. Okay. Oh, we'll just put that there. Thank you, Amber. So I got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Got 6.
All right. So under circumstances, that's going to incapacitate you for 2 pages, and everybody else who's on the craft now is going to need to make.
Leadership roll. Bastion.
What's up? Yeah. Beating a 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be tough. I mean, this will save a lot if we.
Yeah.
Oh, you could throw some luck or something.
Yeah,
I got
a pretty good pile
I'm
of
going to go
goodies.
throw 3 luck and then 3 resolve.
Wow, he's going all in on this three dice of luck.
All those piles.
Right? Yeah.
All right, so the success rating was 10. So that's what you're trying to equal or be better than that.
But this is like 4 people getting stunned, or I pull a superhuman piloting maneuver and evade a flashbang with a ship.
Nice.
You may have done it.
Maybe.
There's another D6.
Yeah.
There's one that went behind your dice box.
Yeah. So we've got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh.
Nine.
Oh.
You can do it.
One more.
Sure, get this back.
Roll one more.
And 2.
Oh, add another one.
So they're spending for you to add 2 dice.
No.
Oh,
One was a
one die.
re-roll, and then one was
No,
not a
no,
good
no.
die.
Just
No, he's just. I thought it was just 2 dice.
Oh,
add
just
2 dice
re-roll
because-
2 and see.
Yeah.
Oh, because you only need
All you
one
need
more.
roll
I
2
just
dice.
rolled
Roll 2 dice and just get.
All you need is 1 success.
All right.
Okay.
So at the
can
last
do it.
possible minute, you managed to just pull it. Everybody else is like, "Whoa!" flying all over
And I'm
the
just
ship.
shouting, hold on!
So just so you know, Leonard, I agree that it's good to cause the heroes to struggle. These guys have struggled. They've actually even lost a couple. So, if today they're doing well, it's because they earned a lot of resolve because of a great roleplay session. And I'm not going to feel bad about that, you evil, evil man. All
What
right.
are you on, anyway?
So that was LINECUTTER, who was like, Then she reaches up and wow, disappears. You've seen that effect, that shimmering cloaking effect go on before. So.
It's cloaking.
Huh?
It's cloaking. Not like teleporting.
Yeah, there's a cloaking effect, yes. Fire zone.
No, I go.
That's right. You jumped ahead. Myrmidon, you're up.
I think, excuse me for a minute. I think you seem to have this dealt with. I'm going to take care of their ace in the hole. I'll be right back. Boing.
No. Oh boy.
I am doing non-lethal. I'm not going to kill him. I'm just going to knock him into the river.
Well, fortunately, Blocker's innate agility is 8D, so at least he's not completely.
Oh, I'm only 13 dice to punch him.
Oh, for God's sake! Oh my God!
None.
0.
Oh, jeez.
1, 3s, and 5s are all that just appeared.
It's a bad
6.
day for Blocker.
Bye, Blocker.
It's like flipping now. Oh god, that was great.
Blocker, I hardly even knew it.
Blocker into the river.
This is what happens when you try to deal
Absolutely.
with Ray.
Yes.
This is what happens.
You don't have to. Well, I mean, unless the dogs are going to get
No,
infuriated.
they're in the basement.
I just
It's
thought it was
okay.
funny.
It was. It wasn't hurting anything.
But yeah, Blocker's out.
Apparently, Brett was worried
So
about
I just
Gator
rush up.
being on the floor.
Tap, tap, tap. Boom!
Blocker didn't get to do. I mean, oh my God! 14 die dispel.
Ray.
Wow.
Ray.
Force wall with the immutable or the I know
Now
what
he
this
needs it
was.
back.
You just wanted a bonus resolve.
Oh,
But seriously, 14 dice dispel, psychic, magic, and super. Force field 14 with area and inviolate. Inviolate means it also blocks like dazzle and transformative and any other kind of thing. Telekinesis 14 die with area, and because of the role of the character, 26 edge,
Wow.
lightning reflexes and everything. The whole point is to be ready to block an incoming effect, specifically yours. He was
the reason I told you to.
he had one job.
He had one job.
Not that I knew any of that information, but like just the wild card in the whole like.
Well, they
One
repeatedly go,
freaking
do
job.
your job. It's like, I'm trying. It's like, we
Just
probably-
fair warning,
That's my
Jams.
lucky
Best
charm
laid
for
plans, right? Best laid plans.
That's
So-
the fun of the game, man. That's the fun of the game.
Fun for us.
So now Fire Zone goes,
Mm.
and yeah, Fire Zone is actually going to attack both of you. He's just opened it with full on, heavy weapon auto fire stuff. So it's not penetrating this time. It's just ugly action.
How adorable.
So both of you will need to defend. He is doing 2 separate attacks. This is not area or anything like that. He's losing 2 dice to attack 2 different people. This will be against Orb. I got 8. What'd you get?
5.
So that would hurt.
All right. Taking 3.
Well, there you go. Yay!
Oh.
Oh, for God's sake. Really? No 6s at all? I got 5 successes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes on my end.
So you feel the pressure of the heavy, bullets, basically, because he's using ballistic weaponry. But, it's highly advanced compared to anything on Earth. It actually drives you back a couple of steps, but does not penetrate, does not hurt.
Is that the best you can do?
Just getting warmed up. Black Rook, you're up.
Flashback to when Grenadier first arrives. And we did this nice little weapons check of everything that you were capable of with those things. And he takes inventory of the fact that you have these grenades that do this nice little expanding foam thing. Flash forward to when we're prepping the bulwark. 2 more torpedoes are being loaded up underneath it.
That scene between when Grenadiers.
As he pulls up the information on Grenadier's grenades and sees them being loaded, that information loaded into the torpedoes. Please plug that hole. Turns around to his tactical systems and he says, "Not this time, LINECUTTER," and is uploading some information into the system, and he pushes a button, and a nice EMP blast type thing goes out across the entire dam as a nullification for her
A notification for her what?
clothing.
So is this one of your actual powers, or are you going off the preparation thing here?
No, I am using the omni-powered gizmos.
Ah, okay. So this would basically be a drain effect then.
Yep.
Oh, crap.
My favorite words out of the show.
We live for that.
And because I'm actually up in the plane, can I go all out on this?
Sure.
I'm never actually going to get out of the plane. I'm just going to apparently do all of the objectives for everybody
I will
else.
spend 2 luck on this.
I'm just telling you, you probably don't need to. You know what? I should shut up and let you spend it.
You committed.
Too late. It's like chess rules. He touched it.
You let go of the piece. You let go of the piece.
Just so you know, the effective rank for this was 4 dice.
Wow.
Because it's invisibility with the default rank, and default rank is based on, and for her tech is based on her toughness, which her natural toughness is 4. She is she's a very slightly better than human person who just has a lot of really good gear and a lot of good training.
11.
Yeah, so her cloak may never ever work again. She looks up.
Where does she appear?
She didn't. Oh, that's true. Well, no, you still wouldn't see her because she did go back inside the building.
Okay.
So you know.
Yeah, but her thermographic signature comes up.
Yeah.
It comes up on the
It in fact does, because she had invisibility with cloaking, radar, thermal. radar and thermal. So he was blocking radar imagery and thermal imagery. But yes, her thermal imagery comes back in. She's inside, but she's actually going down like into a lower level kind of thing. Like she's moving very quickly, and that happens. And the reader sees in the comments, she's like, "I'm going to kill him, or I'm going to mate with him." Nope, reverse that.
Wait, what?
I think it's best that we're glad we're not in that scene.
We're just gonna move on now. Moving on.
Well,
We
like
didn't see that.
she's a Meldanian. They have a very overt, direct kind of attitude about this kind of stuff. Bastion, you're up.
Well, we've got a flooding dam and we got a bunch of populace that's about to go on to. And he's given me the tools, so I guess I'm just doing piloting today. Let's plug that hole.
All right.
You can do it.
Because of so we're specifically we are well, I thought we were handling that disaster.
Yes, that one. Sorry.
The
This is
actual
rescue populace. That's dam the river.
Repair the dam.
repair the dam.
Yeah,
Right.
plugging.
If it's the AB construction foam, it's probably plugging the dam.
Okay, well, whatever. She blew a big fucking hole in the
Yeah.
Right.
I'm plugging the
So-
big.
Yeah, well, I thought there was one coming this way to get the population too, so I'm
Yeah.
confused too because I was thinking.
There's water rushing down, and that population situation is going to have to be resolved. But this is going to, this is another thing that also has
That
to be dealt
could
with.
potentially resolve both, really. But
Okay,
You know,
all right,
this,
at
so
least-
we're dealing with
well, it
over there
will make
first.
this one not get worse.
this will keep that from getting worse. Yes,
Okay.
that is in fact the way to look at that.
Okay.
Uh,
So
be-
are you over there then?
this has become a superhuman task. However,
Okay.
the threshold on this one is 7.
Okay. Well, I've got 6 piloting plus the 3 from the ship plus 1 from above, so it's doable.
And apparently,
getting
Grenadier
two
is Grenadier is giving you additional advice on how to apply this stuff effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that he put the fast drying epoxy sheets on.
All right. 1, 6. 2,
So with a threshold of 7, you need to get 8 or better.
5. Yeah. That was a particularly kind of mediocre roll, so we're going to re-roll that.
All right.
There we go. 6, 7, 8.
Ah, there you go.
Oh, there's a 4.
Barely.
9.
There was a 4.
That was 9.
It's
It
9.
was 9.
So you come flying, and you start blasting these torpedoes into the holes and stuff like that. The quick dry is expanding dramatically. You got in there and tweaked the stuff so that it worked really well. So you have in fact resolved this, which means the population the population rescue will not get any worse. It's already pretty bad, but it won't keep getting worse because that was in fact the right thinking. All right, so that was Bastion. Orb is up.
Okay, well, there's this big guy in front of me, and he seems kind of mad.
He's very
He
mad.
hurt me, so it seems like the only thing to do is try to hurt him back.
Hurt him back, she says.
Yeah, seems like the thing to do. So I am going to try the penetrating blast again,
Okay.
and I think I would like to add dice just because I really want him to feel it.
Okay.
And I have all these piles still.
Bring it.
So I do. I'm going to use my 3 luck, and I'm going to use 1 resolve, and this time I'm not going to forget my buff.
Why not have to shoot my child?
4 extra dice. This could be ugly or really, really pretty, depending on how you look at things in life.
Grenade censored.
Ah!
Flying out.
Oh my god. Don't tell
One adversity left. 1.
That was just awful.
I saw that.
Come on, guys. What is wrong with you now?
Oh, where are all the sixes?
Should have totally made this a
You were
level
really-
2 adversity rating.
Oh.
3. I got
Well-
3 success.
I rolled pretty bad too, but I didn't roll that bad.
Oh,
Wow.
thanks. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Amber. That's great.
You know you love me.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay. I only rolled 7, so.
Only 7.
Only 7 against 3. Yeah.
But like, look at all those dice that could have helped, and there's no 6s.
So, Amber, describe the scene in which you take down FIREZONE.
Okay. So I'm looking right at him. I've just attempted to dodge his attack, which did not work. It hurt when he hit me significantly.
Mhm.
Like half my health hurt me. So I'm just staring up at him, and I have this evil, like, this is gonna hurt more look, but he can't see it because I have, you know, the mask on. And I'm just gonna take a deep breath, kind of like look at my hands, look at the orb, and just have a moment with it, and just
It says,
blast it.
No.
Oh, it's talking back. That always scares me. Okay, I'm not used to that yet.
I know.
Okay.
Her and her relationship with her orb have been very, very interesting the last couple of sessions. So,
Yeah.
it blows a hole right through this thing. It doesn't actually like blow him to pieces himself. He's a pilot inside the thing, but it goes flying back, crashing into the building, and yeah, he's down and he's out and it's gone.
Wow.
End of story for FIREZONE.
Aw, he was such a big honking thing.
All right, the strikers are up. Those 2 strikers actually will close in on her and attack her.
Her being me.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
They're going to go all out.
Aw, where's Bear?
So put these purple markers next to them to represent that they have gone all out. They're not teaming up in the same way. They're both independently attacking.
Okay.
I will get 7 on the first attack.
Ooh. Oh, it doesn't matter. You go ahead and have your 7.
Sure, okay. Thanks for
Because
that.
I had 11.
I'm so grateful. Roll
And
again.
I'm not great at math, but I feel like that was enough.
Oftentimes greater than 7.
Oftentimes, but not always.
And I rolled 7 again.
That'd be a great punk band name. Greater than 7. Oftentimes greater than 7.
But not always. You gotta have that as
The other 2 strikers are going to super leap over towards MYRMIDON and attack him.
Oh, you
Okay.
Same thing.
Okay, my second roll was not as good.
Okay, I got 7 again.
I didn't. 2, 3, 4. I'm probably gonna have to re-roll that, or I'm gonna be down.
Woo! Yay!
Yeah, that was a much worse roll. I talked a lot of crap. My dice heard it.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna try just a straight up re-roll because I feel like I have enough dice.
No rerolls.
Oh, sorry, because it's I used my luck.
I'm kidding.
Sorry.
No, you can totally reroll.
So I was like, what? All right, fine.
I was just totally messing with you.
I was like, what? What did I do? You scared me.
Sorry, I was just messing with
Okay,
you.
I was like, what did I forget?
I was messing with you. You guys are absolutely owning this situation.
We're so used to messing with you. Like when you do it bad, we're like, ah!
I know, right?
Because you actually have all the power to like do whatever you want.
Yeah,
So
but I'm
like
not
it's
like
kind of
that.
terrifying.
Totally not like that.
Okay. That's better. I think I'll live. All right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now I'm good. I'm fine now.
All right, Scott. Attacking.
What?
Oh no, I already did. Wait,
Strikers
right.
or
Did I roll the strikers against MYRMIDON yet?
no.
No.
Okay, that's what I said, Scott.
Yeah, because you were like starting to do it, and then I said I had to defend it against that second roll.
Huh?
Are they rolling at least 7 dice?
They're rolling 7 dice. Yes. They're actually rolling 9 dice. Because except they're going all out, so they're rolling 9 dice. These guys are like preservers, basically. Ooh. Never mind. 5.
I auto success it.
Seven.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Ah, okay. Got close. Grenadier, you're up.
They kind of punch me in
they're coming at you with these like blazing energy claws.
You're still just like looking down at your shirt, like
You're up, Grenadier.
Oh, those are your words.
Yes.
Oh no.
I've been waiting for this.
He's actually, these drones just, he pulls up this little computer that he's got on his wrist armor, taps something into them, and they all just, zzz, in this conga line come out, and they actually start going to the town. And they're going to start feeding people data, rescue data to the local police and fire and whoever else they need to.
Very, very cool. You are using them to resolve the rescue situation. So I will let you choose either command or technology as your skill roll here, unless you want to suggest something else.
And the summoning is 4D and my technology is 4D, so that's...
But the summoning is just a default rank for the power,
Right.
basically. Or, well, I know it is. It's more than that.
I don't know, this is what you put on it, so...
Yeah, no, I that's right. But, so your technology is 4D.
Right.
All right, well, there's also going to be the bonus because there's multiples of them working
Right.
together. So I'll give 2 dice for that. And you get a bonus die for the buff thing from boss person. This is going to be... Because of how you're doing this, it's not going to be as hard as it could be because it was a really, really clever idea. So I'm calling it a brutal, which means threshold of 4.
Okay.
But I mean, that was a really, really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Bam.
Oh yeah.
Off.
Oh,
whoa!
Woo!
so right.
Those are some informed emergency personnel right there.
Oh, yeah.
So you dispatch those drones down there. You are feeding. You're feeding the tactical data that he's already gathered from everything going on, and you very, very effectively handled the third disaster resolution with your freaking drones.
I mean,
Nice.
I primarily put sensors and stuff on them. The guns was because, yeah, they kind of need it, but
All right. Well, I'm going to call that the action though, because I said if you handle
Yeah.
a disaster, that's your page. But you've resolved. That's all 3 disasters have been handled. So well done on that. The threat to the population was handled. The dam has been resecured, and you managed to keep the power plant from exploding. Cruncher goes. He actually takes his rod, shoves it into like a little holster type thing, and comes at you.
I like
Dramatic
the sound
turn.
effect there.
Just imagine a little
Come on.
onomatopoeia. Swish.
He actually has a flaw, a code of conduct, believes in fighting honorably, especially against worthy opponents. And thus far, she has absolutely proven to be that. So that's why he's giving up some of his advantage. And I'm going to really regret that. That's 5, or no, 4, 7.
I also got 7.
So, whoosh, you managed to duck underneath. You should have been Meldanian.
Actually, I didn't say that. You should have stayed home.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so you're totally still in the line, so that neutralizes the resolve I would hand out for that. But it was nonetheless a great line. So the commandos at this point are actually, they're kind of doing this kind of thing, and then they're like pulling back. They're doing the whole pull out, melt away kind of thing. So that group down there is gone. This group down here pulls back and out.
These two.
No, that group is actually staying in there with her. But these groups are gone. Yes,
those
these 2 right in front of me,
Yeah. Okay.
they're gone. They pull out. It's the one group that's inside the.
Because he's
in there.
inside, he still has to get out. And
Those two actually are going to try to maneuver through. They are, in fact, going to maneuver through, and they're also going to join in with the group inside. Yeah. So there's effectively 7 in there at this point. So they'll end up combining into a group of a single group of 7, but I'll deal with that if somebody attacks them. All right, so that was it for the commandos. And again, the thermal images of both LINECUTTER and them is going further down into the dam. We come back around to Ray.
Oh, I'm gonna regret doing this. Okay. She's gonna jump out. She'll omnipower flight. Change the magic, and then we'll get down to the I guess to the building,
Mm-hmm.
and then activate, I guess, the lesser part. It's essentially a multi-action. Go from a 5 to a 4 and use that for fast running, I guess. She's running as fast as 5 people.
So the way this works now, and I think I posted this in a couple of places.
Oh.
So your pool is 5 dice, right?
Yes.
So the first thing you do on a page with it is you have a flight of 5.
Mm.
Then you use it again. You're down to 4 dice of running. It drops down 1 die per.
Right. Okay.
As you're using it for different things. So you shift it, and so you run inside.
Right.
Even with 4 dice of running, which is yeah, you're starting. You're making your way down. You're not going to quite. Well, no, I take it back. You will catch up to the minions, not her.
Okay.
There's a group of 7 minions right up in front of you.
Okay.
If you want to do something to them.
I will just smile at them. And I'm going to hold my. Basically, if they wanted to try anything, then I will.
You can't. You already acted, so you really can't hold your action.
Oh, right, yeah. So basically, I'm just going to smile at them as like a form of intimidation.
All right. Well, they're going to turn around and they're going to stand their ground and try to attack you.
Okay.
Chameleon.
All right, so he's going to make a punch at me.
Right.
I'm going to sidestep it, grab him by the wrist, and then punch him up under the arm, almost like a Mai Tai move. And it,
all right.
Not going for the face this time.
And I'm going to burn 4 more.
Oh,
Woo!
you're going for it.
Bringing it.
I think he found his charger.
Oh, yeah. Oh. His dice are happy with me now.
Who, Sean's?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
rolled pretty good.
11.
$11.
I'm going to reroll.
I was gonna say here.
So you're re-rolling.
You wanna re-roll.
Are you throwing?
Well, I'll throw more dice if you need to. We'll see how it goes.
Eight, 10, 11, 12, 13.
14. That too.
Oh, I missed that too. 14.
Do you want to give him any more?
13 dice
Oh,
So you come flying by and catch him in the backwash slightly, stagger him a little bit.
and 2 more. 16.
Woo!
So he's hurting. He's not down, but he's absolutely hurt. He's like, ah! Ah! Get that thing away from me! This is an honorable fight!
And I say to him, looks like your people are bugging out. You want to call it a day?
We'll get back to on that. LINECUTTER continues her.
Jumping the order.
Oh crap! Jumping the order and
Spending 2 is because apparently he's doing something.
jumping the order is one thing. There's something else happening. Though.
Things are happening.
Preparation.
When I think we're going to discover that GMs across the world hate this power just as much as players love it.
I have downloaded, of course, the entire schematics of everything about this dam. So, of course, I know exactly where she's going to be coming out. And since we already have one person chasing her on one side, I will greet her on the other.
So the scene, if I may explain how this is going to have to work, is nobody noticed you slipping out of the craft as he was doing his maneuver. You slipping out of the craft and in full scuba gear, hitting the water and making your way down to which basically is an airlock. You making your way inside with it.
Wow.
By the way, there is in fact a like a Meldanian looking sort of undersea craft looking